Hello, so today we are going to be looking at 3 different ways that we can take downward facing dog pose. So we're going to start in more of a puppy dog shape, which involves staying down on the knees and forearms. And as you can see, I decided to keep my dog with me because I couldn't film a dog video without the dog. So this is Juno. Anyway, we are going to start from all fours and exploring a closer to the ground version of downward dog. So this one can be very useful if you've got a shoulder issue, you're just feeling like you want to be a little more grounded and close to the ground, or just because it feels nice in your body. So from all fours, I'm going to keep my knees as they are with this right angle in the legs, and then slowly bring the elbows down just beneath the shoulders onto the forearms, fingertips in front of me. You can still spread the fingers out as if you would for a taller downward facing dog. And I'm going to allow my body to slope towards the floor and start to reach forward through the crown of the head and draw back through the hips. So you're still getting that length, that space in the spine, that sense of inversion. I'm just taking a couple of breaths here, seeing how that feels in the body. I'm going to change it up slightly to a pose that's actually called dolphin because it looks a little bit like a dolphin fin. But you could think of this also as just a variation on downward facing dog. So I'm going to leave the forearms where they are, elbows under the shoulders, fingertips spread out on the floor, and actually start to put a little bit of pressure in the fingertips here. And then just as I would for downward dog, I'm going to tuck the toes underneath and then start to lift the hips, pressing them back and up. And you can keep the knees a little bit soft here. If it feels good, you could start to straighten the legs, and the heels may or may not come anywhere near the floor. Really isn't that important. So in this version, we're still keeping the weight out of the wrists, which can be nice if they're feeling tired or if there's any issues there. But actually, this is a little bit more harder work for the abdominal muscles. So if you're looking to work the abdominals a little bit more, this can be a version of downward dog that might be for you. So I'm going to gently lower the knees back down, bring myself up to all fours here. So I've got my wrists, elbows and shoulders stacked in a line. I'm going to really focus on spreading out the fingers. And I've got that middle finger pointing straight forward as if it were north on a compass. I'm actually going to start to press down into the tips of my fingers, and that just helps to keep the weight out of the wrists. Alternatively, you could do this up on your fists instead, or if you have a yoga block, you can place the hands on the top with the thumbs over the side. Today I'm going to keep my hands flat on the floor, but remember you've always got those options with the hands should you need them. So I'm pressing into the tips of the fingers, tucking the toes underneath, and just like we did with the previous pose, I'm going to lift the hips back and up towards the sky. So again, the heels may or may not come down towards the floor. If you're feeling it a little much in the legs, by all means, bend the knees a little here. Make the focus about finding that length in the back. So in all 3 versions of this pose, you're looking at drawing the hips back and up towards the sky, crown of the head forward, and broadly speaking, you've got your ears just inside of the upper arms here. Try and find just a little more broadness across the shoulders. You can stay here for just a breath, a couple of breaths, whatever feels reasonable in the body. And often in class, if we're doing a bit of a warm-up, I might even recommend a bit of movement, walking out the legs, maybe swaying the hips side to side before letting it settle back into stillness. Just going to slowly bring that back down to earth. So that is just 3 of the ways that we can explore downward dog pose. There are of course others, and we might touch upon them another time using different props. But for today, from me and Juno, assuming you can still see her down here, that'll be all. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.